the men in my side of the family serve in the military. Generations back, all the way back. And they died fighting with a freaking pool of brass around them.
In June 2005, Marcus Luttrell was one of 4 SEALs hunting the Taliban in Afghanistan. When his team was ambushed, he saw all 3 of his comrades die. A rescue helicopter was also destroyed, killing all on board. The book is called Lone Survivor. You were attacked by between 80 and 100 members of the Taliban.
I took the first shot, and they pushed us back down with RPGs and mortars and AK fire.
You watched some heroism and some tragedy take place, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You somehow survived, crawling estimated 7 miles. But you've got some wounds that are probably going to be with you for the rest of your life. Is there also that emotional thing that people talk about all the time, that survivor's guilt as to why are you the one who survived when the 3 others with you died and those 16 who were coming to get you?
I'm a country boy from Texas. I wasn't going to be an accountant or a lawyer or a banker or anything like that. I wanted to be a gunfighter. That was it. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Well, I don't know if it's when you were born, how you were raised, the discipline you had as a kid, something that happened to you while you were growing up as you evolved, or what it is. Hey, boy. Someone come from underneath the water over the beach, sneak in, snatch somebody out of there, swim back out. That's the sexiest job on the planet. What's up, little hurricane? My little hurricane. My brother came up with that idea. We're gonna be Navy SEALs. Knowing there's a job like that out there, why would you want to do anything else?
They were always real strong. You name it, they could do it at 3 and 4 years old. Never quit. They don't have quit in them. When they were small, they were already showing interest in the military and in being fighters. They love fighting. They were martial arts, doing all kinds of stuff. No fear was our mantra. I didn't pass fear on to them.
They were born to be a warrior. They got it in their soul. They come over to the house one day. These 2 little old skinny kids come walking up. His name was Marcus Luttrell. He's probably one of the most intense young kids I ever seen, because if you ever look at him, he don't talk much, he don't say a lot, and he got these eyes, man. He said, me and my brother know what we want to be. I looked at him and said, man, what do you want to be? He said, man, we want to be Navy SEALs. I said, boy, my ass, you ain't big enough to make a bump on Navy SEAL's ass. Right now, you ain't big enough to work out. It takes a special kind of person to endure to want to do that, because, man, you know how hard that is to be? You got to have a passion for something.
Billy trained people to go into the Special Forces and into the military. It was my brother's idea to get him to train us, and he said he would. That's kind of when it all started.
If they decide they want to do something, they don't quit till it's done. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop.
I never could work him hard enough. Like if I told him to do 100, he wanted to do 150. He'd want more.
Everything was attention to detail with him. He would always do something that you couldn't do that would break you down, and you'd fail it. A lot of people, that's what happens to them. They can't pass something, they think they're a failure, they quit. But that's not how it was with us. If you failed something and you didn't accomplish it, you're like, well, I'll be back tomorrow and I'll get it. And then once we got it, then you're just like, whoa, now I'm stronger, both mentally and physically, because I just overcame that obstacle. But there would always be another one. One more rung on the ladder of life, so to speak. We're never done. And that's the way it was going through SEAL training. They never congratulated you for crap.
The more you do it, the more you want. The more you want, the harder it gets, the more we do. It's a driving force in him. He wanted it, but he didn't know how bad he wanted it till you got the training.
I didn't know anything about BUD/S training till they went through it. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know why anybody would want to do it. That is one of the hardest things a man could try to do. I sent boys to the Navy. The Navy sent me men home. They were men right then.
Let me tell you something. When I got there to the training, it doesn't matter what you read or what you see on TV, nothing will prepare you for what you're fixing to go through.
This class is never gonna see Saturday. BUD stands for Basic Underwater Demolition and SEAL Training. It's the real gut check. It's what separates the frogmen from the people who want to be frogmen.
Drop means now! Yeah.
The heart in it is what you show up with from day one. The will is what you have once you're out there and it sucks and it's cold.
Surfing back, go! Surf!
You got a long ways to go till you're out of there. That's the no-quit will. That's what you learn in BUD/S. That's what Hell Week is all about. You come out of Hell Week, and those are the guys that have that will, that want to be there.
I've heard from some guys who are just like, well, BUD/S wasn't so damn hard. Well, like, well, why wouldn't you want it to be hard? I want it to be the hardest thing in the world.
Okay, who's gonna go out first? Tanner, why are you over here? What'd you do wrong?
Cheated on a race.
Cheated on a race, huh?
Your true weakness. One film forever. No pushing it instead.
We spent a tremendous amount of time in SEAL Team teaching fundamentals. Continue to look for light at the end of the tunnel. If you never quit, you'll never know how to.
What we have here is the infamous bell. This is what you don't want to end up doing.
If you say to yourself, I want to be a Navy SEAL, that's a life commitment. That's an ultimate commitment that you're pushing for.
This is the drop area right here. There's a few unlucky souls right now.
Everybody goes there with the same intent. I want to be a Navy SEAL. And if you ring that bell, you've just given up on everything that you believed in and yourself. My whole philosophy on BUD/S is you were going to have to kill me or kick me out.
I met my limit, so that's it.
Somewhere along the line, something happens that it gets skewed, and they're just like, I can't do this.
You guys running out like crazy.
Lost my best friend.
Yeah, it's okay. You're still here.
If all they would do was remember back to how they felt when they first got there, then they could push past it.
You don't want to quit because your friend quit, do you?
Negative. I got more friends.
The unique thing about our community is from our highest ranking officer to our lowest ranking enlisted, you have to do the gambit that everybody else did.
I think we're ready to quit. Who's ready to quit?
He's been tested and pushed and broken and beaten, and he made it. And he's got that hunger that we all have, that accomplishment, that thing you overcome with those guys, what makes you want more.
Take all this shaking and all this cold, harness it, turn it into aggression.
Go, let's go, let's go!
I wasn't the best at anything. I was the kind of guy who could work well with others. And that's what the SEAL teams are. If it wasn't for my classmates, I would have never made it through. They watched out for me, and that's the only reason I made it through BUD/S.
Got the death march.
We surround each other, protect each other, look out for each other, and that's when you know you're gonna make it.
You guys did good in Hell Week. Strong class, man.
If you see a guy with a trident on his chest that he has absolutely went through hell and back and made it, you gotta bleed for it. And anybody who wears a trident has. And that's the one thing they can say that nobody else can. That I did that, and you didn't.
I think that people have a underlying fascination with the SEAL teams. When Hollywood came around knocking, they said, well, we want to make it into a film. I was so apprehensive about it, I said, no way. I know Hollywood, and you guys would screw it up. Too many people died. You're not going to dishonor my teammates by making crap. I'm still close with the SEAL teams, and there's some pretty important people in the teams that advise me. I said it was better for me to be there and be a part of it.
All right, let's go to work.
So we're gonna grab him, we'll go right to the set. Tom, drop your bag. Meet Marcus Luttrell.
Hey, Marcus.
How you doing? You too. This is my wife, Melanie.
Hi, Melanie. Nice to meet you.
We'll go look at the bunkhouse and stuff.
Yeah. Let's go.
Thank you, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's her. Damn, you guys are good. The dumbbells were against the wall over here.
We have rack.
Stereo was right over there, all busted up, old. The DVDs were all homemade, mixed, and everything like that.
The reporters and magazine articles, they were just writing stuff that they just thought was true.
That's good.
The book is the debrief. So that way, if you have any questions about what happened during Operation Red Wing, yeah, there it is right there.
This is the art department.
Ah. Ew.
Yeah.
The village, right? Yeah, that's right. And then,
It's kind of a model that Pete built.
well, it's about right. Tumble out, second drop. And then that guy shot, those 3 guys I killed were right here.
Right.
And then I went this way. And I fell all through that crap all night, so.
Right. Now, pictures here. This is from Santa Fe. This is some of the pieces, you know, for some of the rock, like the rock quarries and stuff that were.
Well, it makes perfect sense because it's actually really good because a lot of people just think of Afghanistan as that.
Right.
But where we were at, it was this, and foliage, and like,
Right.
but there was snow too.
Right.
Like in the middle of the night, I took a fall. Chest came up over my hips, and I started flipping. I remember telling myself, I was like, it's a good thing I'm a rock climber. And I crawled up on top of the rock. I started moving. I had slung my weapon behind my back. It kind of felt like I was underwater. You know how, like, in the distance underwater, it gets really black, and you're like, there's something there?
Yeah.
So I slid on my belly back down, and I went around them.
So at that point, your adrenaline is still flowing so much that you're able to move.
I was crawling, maneuvering on my hands and knees. And as the sun came up, I had had enough, and I was just like, I'll just engage till they kill me. I had been in LA. I met with all the directors, producers. I didn't really like anybody.
Daylight's wasted!
Then they took me over to meet Pete Berg. I didn't say one word. He's like, this is what I see, this is what I think. And his attention to detail, that's what got me.
You need to come down.
Not anything else, just his attention to detail.
Firing line is hot.
I said, all right, you got it. Cheers, take it.
Lock and load, make ready.
And I said, don't F it up, because we'll kill you.
Fire at will.
In the book, you talk about so much Hell Week, and did Hell Week prepare you?
Yeah, all the time. I was like, just kept telling myself, get up, get up, get up. You know, quit being a bitch, get up. And then, because I laid down to die twice, and then I'd be like, get up, let's go. And I'd get up and I'd move.
What is the common denominator that makes someone willing to stick it out?
And what it all boils down to is the willingness to give your life to make it through something, and the others won't. When we come up on the guns and we start firing, I'm not firing my weapon to protect myself. I'm firing my weapon to protect you. And then he's gonna fire his weapon to protect me. I give a shit about myself. I care about him. He cares about me. Then it's about, hey man, we gotta get through this, not I have to get through this.
Mm-hmm. It's about a brotherhood. It's about coming together as a group, protecting each other, loving each other, looking out for each other, and finding a greater strength as a team than you could ever find as an individual.
Firing line is cold.
Cold.
Orange.
They're not scared of getting shot. They're not scared of dying. They're not scared of, you know, running into harm's way. The only thing they're scared of is letting down their buddy, letting down their teammate, not doing their job. That terrifies them.
Now, you gotta pull this back. This forefinger, yeah, you got that. It always, always rides right there, unless you're ready to engage. And then you go in and start tickling her, okay? All right. Come off the line. Clear and safe your weapon.
I suppose what's so appealing and addictive about the book itself, this story, is in the title, which is Survivor.
Counting your rounds takes the pressure off of your mind. You're killing somebody.
Well said. If we look at a man who's put in a position, who's lost all his brothers, and has to survive, and how do you do that? And what do you draw upon? And where do you draw strength from? Is something that we all consider at some point in our life.
When someone's killed in action, it's almost as hard for their teammates as it is for the families, because they've become like a brother.
So close. Maybe even harder sometimes. Those brave men are not just soldiers. They are people just like you see walking around here. There's a difference, what they've gone through, what they've dedicated themselves to, but it's not just the warrior. They are still the husband, the son, the brother.
It's got to be hard on the families to never have that closure. We try to remind Marcus, when we see him, how grateful we are that not only that he survived, but that he had the courage to tell the story. Because that's an emotional toll when you're telling the story over and over of a firefight where you lost your closest friends. But the fact that he survived and told the story is why Mike Murphy got the Medal of Honor, why Matthew and Danny and Marcus got the Navy Cross. If he hadn't had the courage and be willing to do that, this story would have never been told.
You are in the fight right now, so you're there. This is your house. You own it.
Everything we're teaching you guys is the basics to get that muscle memory down. And once you have all that stuff like that, then you'll know it.
Great effort. Great job.
When we graduate buds, you swim 149 miles. You run 2,342 miles. So you gotta think, from the time we get out on the gun and we start shooting, man, just graduating basic training, just basic buds over 2 million rounds.
One of the great motivators initially was just fear. Like, oh my God, these guys are so badass.
You're fighting for your life, man, so remember that.
There's that impulse, I think, you know, a lot of people have where, you know, they see a huge challenge that scares them, and that's what they're interested in. It was just really pushing my body and almost more so my mind to unbelievably uncomfortable places that I was not used to visiting, but kind of learning to live in that place. That's the place that the SEALs, they thrive in and they live in.
One of the biggest fears of a human being, and that starts out at childhood, is being left alone. It's a horrible feeling. So I can just about imagine what Marcus felt, what that young man went through.
Meeting some of his teammates after this happened, and talking with them and talking with their parents, it's a special breed that was instilled from the moment they were born.
Yeah.
Can you get him into a fighting position? Physically get him up and pick him up there. Yeah. See, that kind of thing. Something like that, Marcus?
Yeah, you can actually do this too. Here, watch out. You're gonna get in here on this. Then you can sit out like this against him. He ain't feeling nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then you are off in this direction, firing back up that mountain. And then we get overrun again, dude, so you gotta go up and grab his ass. And then, like, I picked him up a couple times, but, like, on that 4th or 5th time, man, when I fell on him, he was like, please don't do that again. And I didn't.
You picked him up in a fireman's carry and fell on him?
Fell on him.
Just balance went on?
Fell off a rock. I fell right on top of him. And he's like, please don't do that again. And that kind of hit home.
Okay, we'll get that right. There really was a responsibility here, and I was outside of Denver at the Dietz house. And I went there, and Mr. Dietz took me into Danny's bedroom. And he took a piece of paper, and he started reading it, and it was the autopsy report from the military. He said, my son was shot in the left ankle. He said he was shot in the right calf, and the right thigh, and the groin. He was shot twice in the stomach. He was shot twice in the throat. He was shot 3 times in the head. And as he was reading the paper, the tears started coming and hitting the piece of paper. And he finished, and he put the paper down on my lap. He said, that's who my son was. That's how tough my son was. You make sure you get that right.
It's a true story that needs to be told, and told right. You want to talk about weight? When you take on something like this is just something that's bigger than all of us.
Heroism comes in all forms, and they throw the word hero around a lot.
Too much, yeah. And let's face it, a hero doesn't plan it. It just happens. Either you're gonna do it, or you're gonna let it go.
No kid is born and say, oh, I'm gonna be a Navy SEAL. You learn in your character that you're willing to help others as opposed to yourself. Whether it's the Axelsons or the Dietzes or the Murphys or the Luttrells, it comes back to the parents that are behind them.
It comes from the very beginning, and these families obviously put their all into it. It didn't surprise us when they told us what he did. That's the way he was. These are my friends. I gotta help them out. And really, when you think about it, that will probably always bother you if you didn't do it.
It's all there, right?
2 18-gauge catheter needles.
Okay.
And our dog tag went in the lace of the boot.
Okay.
And then on the sleeves right here, you put NKA, no known allergies.
Okay.
And then O positive, O negative, whatever it is, goes right here as well, in case his arm's blown off.
No one ever thinks about how difficult a decision it is to take on a role like this, because you can't screw this up.
This thing needs to be readily available. That was my big thing, is I was like, I need to be able to get to this freaking tourniquet, so.
Okay.
When portraying somebody in real life, I want to make sure that I make them, their family members, proud. You know, I take great pride in trying to, you know, take care of them in that way. It's really important to me. Can't imagine dealing with the things that he's had to deal with and the pain that lives in you every day.
You're a fighter, right? So, I mean, you know the deal. The engagement position is different for everybody, bottom line, okay?
Yeah.
So you want, most important thing is you want to be comfortable, all right? But you have to be comfortable without that rifle running you back over. Yeah, just get into it. That's your engagement position. Shoulders, elbows in, locked in, and rocking and rolling, bro.
5 rounds standing, 5 rounds unbraced kneel, 5 rounds kneeling.
The authenticity and the accuracy of this film was paramount to Marcus, and therefore paramount to Pete. And so that's why Marcus asked that we would be here.
On move, you're going to present the weapon system and move forward. You're going to be shooting on you. Move!
You know, the SEAL guys that we had that were training us made damn sure that we were going to look real.
Stay on line.
Move up, move up.
As we work with the actors, our responsibility isn't as easy as just showing them some tactics.
All these fundamentals, you really have to lock into that weapon system nice and tight.
It's really getting their mind right so they understand what it means to be a frogman and why we're out there and why we're doing it.
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to just go up like 200 yards from there, and we'll do a button hook and come down.
The attitude we try to teach these guys is complete and total dominance. And you're in a bad area, so now wherever you are, that becomes a little piece of America. You defend that to the last man, and as long as you guys all have the same mindset, you can do anything.
All right, I'm up. Push this way.
When you're out there, you're fighting for each other, and that's what we want them to understand.
Look for your guys. Now get up and move.
We need them to learn that hey, it's just the 4 of us out there. We're all we have, and we're going to fight until this fight is over. And we're not fighting it to hold the enemy up. We're fighting to win.
Good. Start pushing right. Start pushing right.
Imitating is one thing, but if you can actually use your brain and your body and assess the situation and then move into the position that you need to move into, it's going to look better, look more natural, and more aggressive.
I just want to say also I appreciate how well you guys have all worked together with these guys, and to have Marcus here is very special, and you know, just would ask that we try as best as we can to maintain that team vibe. It's a team, you know, and we know why we're here, we know who we're honoring, and we're honoring a team, and we need to behave like a team. Okay?
It just takes a special individual. They don't have to be the strongest physically, mentally, and what they can endure. There's no compromise there. There is no quit. There is no give up.
It's that drive. You talk to the guys who make it through BUD/S. I ask them, I go, wow, why'd you make it through? You know, how did you handle being in that freezing cold water? He just said, I just wanted to be there more than the guy next to me who quit.
These guys are working on levels where they're gonna figure it out and they're gonna handle it, no matter what it is. You don't quit, and you're selfless, and you can do whatever it is you put your mind to. You just gotta figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, you know your brother will.
So we'll get that beat.
Never give up. Never, ever give up. You may be in a hole bad, but that last second, you may get that one card dealt that you needed. And that's what happened with Marcus. Marcus kept fighting all the way through. He never gave up, even though, you know, everything that was going on around him. And he's standing here today because of it. That's not to say that those other guys were killed out there, gave up. They didn't. They fought until their last round. And I'll tell you right now, they fought for nothing but each other out there that entire time, and they fought hard.
This is a story about the dead. It's a story for the families, and it's a story for America who know who these guys are.
I don't want to attest for every frogman, but for every one that I know, and that's most of them, you say that no one can make it out of there alive, then we're going. That's the deal. It's not for everybody. I miss it, I crave it. Since I've been out, I mean, I do every day. I think about it every day. Every day, from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, I think about, man, God, I wonder what the guys are doing. I wish I could be there. This is something, you know. Now that I have kids, I focus all my attention on my kids, but there's still that missing piece that I want, that I'll always have a thirst for, a hunger for, till the day I die. And that's the way it is with any team guy.
Is there also that emotional thing that people talk about all the time, that survivor's guilt as to why are you the one who survived when the 3 others with you died and those 16 who were coming to get you died?
Well, I died on that mountain too, sir. I mean, I left a part of myself up there. And I think about it every day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't wake up or I don't go to bed, you know, if I do sleep, so.
From what I understand in my own heart, the capacity at which someone would go through to give their life for somebody else, most people wouldn't do that. No matter how bad it gets, you keep fighting.
Finish the mission. Finish the mission. I was always working a plan, trying to get myself out of there. And it worked. I'm right here. You know, that's what Billy gave me. And that's what the SEAL team gave me.
I miss those guys. When I started doing speaking tours and speaking engagements and going out and telling stories, that was to keep the memory of my teammates alive. If I told somebody about the story and told them about my teammates and they turn around and tell somebody else, then my memory of my teammates never really dies. No matter how many times I got up and told that story or how many people read that book, it's nothing compared to how many people will watch that film. So my job is done. You know, mission complete.